Dear students, I have come with a new module, Legality of Object. We know that legality of object is an essential concept for making a contract valid. We have learned 10 essential elements to make a contract valid. So here you have to remember legality of object. The things which are allowed in our country, even if the consideration what they are offering, that should be legal, that is accepted within the country as per our legal framework. So this is what we are going to learn in this module. Now let us see the importance of the legality of object. So legality of object, lawful object to treat as valid contract. So the consideration should be valid. The object what you are saying is valid. So then that meaning if it's for sale of car, property, vehicle or anything, property of a land, building, anything, that is legalities of object is valid. Consideration in monetary terms you are giving. The white money, black money cannot be used. So the legal money only you are giving, whatever you have earned. So that is the consideration is also valid. So these are the two important points to make a contract valid. As per section 23 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, the object and consideration of the agreement must be lawful. So this is an important consideration to make a contract valid. Otherwise, the agreement will be void. If you are entering into a contract for sale of drugs or any terrorist activities, the object is not correct and the consideration also will not be valid. So it will be a void agreement. Now, situations where considerations or object of an agreement is void. There are 6 points in this regard. We are going to learn one by one. So first one is forbidden by law. If permitted, would defeat the provisions of any law. Consideration is fraudulent. It involves or implies injury to the person or property of another. Or court regards it as immoral, opposed to public policy. So these 6 points we are going to learn in detail. So the first point is forbidden by law. So what is forbidden by law? We know that we have so many rules and regulations in the country. Stock market regulations, Securities and Exchange Code of India Act, Companies Act. Companies Act is regulating the companies. Banking Act, RBI is regulating that. Banking Regulation Act. So many acts are in the country. Indian Penal Code. They will tell you the terms and conditions. So many acts are there. So if any act, if we are taking into consideration or any consideration which is offered, which is against any of defeating the provisions of any act, then it will not be a valid contract. The agreement will be considered as void. So the point is, if the object or consideration of an agreement is forbidden by law, to commit some suicide or to kill somebody, you have to take in consideration, agreement is void. So other example is, you imagine 2-3 people stolen money from an ATM. If they make an agreement to divide that money among themselves, it's not allowed in the country, so it is a void agreement. Second is defeat the provisions of any law. You know that every act in our country is meant for certain specific purpose. Everything. See, for a Companies Act is regulating the activities of every company registered in our country, whether it is private or public. So any activity against the memorandum and articles of association. So that is ultra vires. That meaning it is not allowed in the country. Similarly, another example if I give, extending the time allowed against the Law of Limitation Act. If somebody has borrowed money from you, within 3 years you have to take measures to collect that money back. If you are keeping quiet for 3 years, in the 5th year you are telling that you have to collect money, it is not valid. So defeating the provisions of any law. Similarly, check validity is 3 months. Or debt, any debt you have to collect within 3 years. These are all examples. Third is, it's fraudulent. See, the name fraudulent itself meaning it is not allowed. It's fraud. So the agreements for the purpose of committing fraud, to taking money from an ATM machine or to break into the bank and taking some documents or break open the locker and take the things out of that, or break open somebody's house, steal the things from there, attack somebody's property. All these are examples. Another example if you will give, buying own company shares before public issue to attract investors. There was one famous case, Emma's Shoes scandal. So the proprietor, Mr. Pavan, he started buying his own shares to create an artificial demand for the company shares. Actually, his company was not going good. So that he got into trouble, and it happened in 1990s. So this was a famous case. Promoter himself buying the company shares to create artificial demand for the company shares, and he allotted shares to the public, and he started doing that. So the people thought that it's a good investment and they invested. They got cheated. So it's a fraudulent activity. Fourth is injury to the person or property. We have no right to interfere in somebody's property, somebody's vehicle, somebody's any valuable. So attacking people or their property, it is considered as the agreement will be void. See, if you are not able, if you don't have the guts to do that, you can hire people. There are people to do that, but it is not correct. Or another example is spreading anti-government rumors through social media. Any natural calamity or any problem started in any state or anything, we have no right to spread the anti-government rules because it's our duty to protect the interests of our country. Fifth is if the court regards it as immoral. Court is regarding so many things as immoral. Sexual immorality is there, selling drugs is there, storing drugs is there, killing somebody, or giving the housebound prostitution. All these are examples. These are all agreements will be void. Whatever consideration you are getting or whatever agreement you are entering into, these are agreements are void. Sixth point is opposed to public policy. Now what do you mean by opposed to public policy? No one has the permission to do anything against the government or interests of the society. See, if a person wants to do the legal business, so he has every right to do that. Nobody can stop him. Similarly, if a girl of 18 years and a boy of 21 years, they want to get married, they have every right to do that. Citizens' rights, they can do that. You have no right to oppose to public policy. Whoever living in our country, as citizens, we are enjoying the rights. They have the right to enjoy that. Now, agreements in restraint of trade. So, certain agreements in restraint of trade. Sometimes business houses will enter into certain agreements so that how they will create that, how they will treat the rivals in the same line of business. So, one case is there, Madhub Chandar versus Raj Kumar. 1874 it happened. What happened is, they were doing the similar business in the same locality. So, this Raj Kumar told Madhub that I will give you certain amount if you close your business in the locality. You should not do that. Believing that and taking the consideration, he collected that money. Madhub collected the money and he closed his business. But what happened is, Rajkumar has not paid that consideration or whatever money he has promised. So this matter went to the court. Then it was decided by the court that the agreement was void. Because though they are doing the same business, both Madhub and Mr. Raj got the right to do the same line of business. It's their business and they have every right to do that. Nobody can enter into an agreement that they should not do this business. If it's legal, it's allowed in our country. Everybody has the right to do that. Now, there are certain exceptions to this rule. So one is sale of goodwill. When somebody is selling goodwill, they will always make, what is goodwill? You know that reputation earned by the company or any organization by being in the market or being in service for a number of years. So some companies, they will tell that 150th year of service, 200th year of service, 100th year of service. That meaning so many years they were there. All the obstacles they faced and they earned some reputation. So when they are selling a goodwill, they can enter into a contract saying that if they are selling the company, they can say that similar business cannot be carried out. This is allowed. Second is Partnership Act. In the Partnership Act, 2-3 partners, imagine 2-3 partners are there. And one partner is going out of the partnership agreement. So he is with the consent of all other partners, he is going out of the partnership business, taking his share of business or profit. So the existing partners can always get into an agreement with the outgoing partner saying that he is not allowed to do similar line of business for so many years. Because otherwise their business secrets he will be implementing and the business partnership firm's business will get affected. So Partnership Act also can include this clause. Third is trade combinations. See, cement dealers, builders, dealers, educational institutions, everybody will have an organization or a society or a group. So what they will do, they will have some common policies. The fees, if an educational institution, fees for this course, BCom course or BBM course, that there will be a standard. Nobody can go above that, nobody can go below that. There will be an understanding. So the trade combinations can give their own restrictions among their members. It can be about retail price, it can be about wholesale price, whatever the terms and conditions. It can be about the advertisements, it can be about the amount of business they are targeting, anything. Next is sole selling agents. Sole selling agents, sometimes the people will get the individual right to sell one company. product. That is individual right they will get. The company will not give that agency to anybody else. So there will be certain conditions or certain terms and conditions for selecting that sole selling agent. So that is possible. Nobody else will get the right, only that person. Third is negative stipulations in service agreements. What is negative stipulation? When a person is taking up a government job, there will be conditions. See, if a teacher, a government teacher, joining an educational institution, they will have that condition. You are not allowed to take private tuition because government is paying you, and with all your heart and soul you have to teach the students. Your 100% you have to commit there. You cannot call students in your house and you cannot take private tuitions. Similarly, a government doctor, they are meant to help the poor people. So they will write in the service agreement that they are not allowed to do private practice. So this is very important. Negative agreements or stipulations, it is possible to include in the service agreements. This is allowed. So these points are exceptions to this rule. Where all, even if the conditions, negative stipulations are there, these are allowed. One is sale of goodwill, second is partnership act, third is trade combination, fourth is sole selling agents, and fifth is negative stipulations in service agreements. Okay, this is what I want to explain in this module. Listen to your PPT, and all PPT, every module PPT is uploaded in the description box. You have to see the PPT, and I'm waiting for your valuable suggestions. Please, whatever your suggestions you give me for your for improving my classes. Thank you.